technology that is built for your every sense. Acer Pure from Acer.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding a bilateral meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba. Remember, this is a crucial visit, by the Indian Prime Minister. These are visuals that we are getting you of the bilateral meeting that took place between the Indian and the Japanese delegations. Extremely crucial as far as the two countries deepening and strengthening their ties are concerned. For India, remember, this is a visit that will help boost what it needs domestically as far as defense cooperation is concerned, as far as semiconductors, artificial intelligence, as well as tech and innovation is concerned. Our focus entirely lies on that. Let me quickly go across to my colleague Rishabh joining us on the phone line. Rishabh, we are, of course, getting our visuals of Indian Prime Minister Modi holding that bilateral meeting with Japanese counterpart. Extremely crucial when we see what India stands to gain from this visit of the Prime Minister to Japan.
Well, definitely. See, the optics right now, what we see in Tokyo is quite important, but there are still headwinds that we need to cater for, and that is something that India do understand, and that's the reason that this visit is coming at such a crucial time. The way geopolitics is playing, be it Russia-Ukraine crisis, be it the West Asia crisis, or for that matter, something that the world is reeling under, the tariff pride of President Trump. That is something that is quite important. And both the countries being an integral part of Quad do understand that they all need to stand firm on ground to ensure that the U.S. does not slap further intrinsic tariffs on the countries, and that is something that is very important. Apart from that, the elephant in the room remains China. Given the assertiveness that China is showing in the Indo-Pacific, that is something that both India and Japan are worried about. So maritime security, clean energy, critical technology, infrastructure, defense, everything is on table when both the leaders are meeting. This is the annual Indo-Japan summit, and after that we'll also share about what happens next between India and Japan. The way the project of bullet train between Ahmedabad and Mumbai is still underway, or for that matter, the supply chain resilience that we are talking about, the defense cooperation that we are talking about. India and Japan are part of many bilateral and multilateral defense exercises as well. So all this will be discussed. So it would be interesting to see how things unfold. Semiconductors definitely is something that both the countries are very much interested in.
Which is what I was coming to next, Rishabh. The fact that the Prime Minister is also expected to travel to the Sendai city, a city that is known as the semiconductor hub in Japan, reflects the kind of emphasis that India is placing on semiconductors, on manufacturing chips within domestically, as well as, of course, taking help from Japan. Let me go across to Srinjoy, my colleague who's joining us from the newsroom. Srinjoy, extremely crucial visit of the Indian Prime Minister right now, a bilateral meeting that took place between the two leaders, and it comes amid the fact that there are concerns of the future of Quad amid the kind of challenges that are coming in as far as tariff is concerned from America. But so far as Quad is concerned, Srinjoy, extremely significant to note is the fact that India and Japan, along with Australia, have all faced the tariff challenge, and they have sent out a strong message that they do not support this kind of bullying that is coming in from America.
Well, technically the Quad summit is likely to be in India this year.
Yes.
But whether this happens or not, keeping in mind the situation, remains to be seen. We are almost into September. So there are only a few months to go before this year ends. So it's up in the air, the Quad. But apart from that, as you can see, this visit is very important. There were a lot of things that could have been achieved if the Quad had already taken place. Now, some of those objectives, as far as India and Japan are concerned, are being met right now. Because this issue about semiconductors is particularly important for India and also for Japan.
Yeah.
Because India has just invested about 65,000 crore on semiconductor manufacturing in India. Now, if the Japanese can also assist India and vice versa, then naturally things will be further down the road. Now that is just semiconductors, but other techno issues also remain to be worked out between the two countries. We know about the bullet train. Now that bullet train again is an opportunity for India and also for Japan. And the more Japan manufactures in India, it's better for both countries. And at this point, keeping aside even the strategic issues, the defense issues, even if you look at issues that are strictly technological and economic, there is much that remains to be done between the two countries.
Yeah.
And this visit will actually take things forward.
You know, Srinjoy, what's also important to note is the fact that this is a relationship that has been going on since the 1950s when we established diplomatic relations with Japan. And since then, Japan has been India's close friend, strong ally, and a country that has supported India through its geopolitical challenges. And that's why a lot of emphasis that is being placed on the takeaways from this visit of the Indian Prime Minister.
Yes, undoubtedly. It must be said that Japan has been a very close friend and also a serious partner. I mean, there have been differences because Japan, after its experiences in August of 1945, was strictly against any kind of nuclear issues, even if there were civilian nuclear issues. But over a period of time, those differences have been ironed out. And even if India has a strategic arsenal, Japan understands that there are serious reasons for that. So India and Japan have actually moved forward. Both countries understand each other better, and there is a clear realization that a strong economic cooperation between these two countries will actually help both countries. Japan, at this point, and further down the road more so, will need skilled labor. And Japan will need people to work in Japan. And there are very few countries who will be able to provide that labor, whether it's engineers, whether it's IT personnel, stuff like that. And Japan, over the years, has been very insular. Now is the opportunity for an Indian computer engineer to work in Tokyo. And this visit will ensure that India and Japan work towards it.
That's right. Srinjoy, stay with me. Let's also get our viewers what the Prime Minister had said earlier today amid Donald Trump's ongoing tariff disputes. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi sent out a strong message from Tokyo saying that the world is not merely watching India, but it is closely counting on its progress and economic decisions. The Prime Minister delivered a major Make in India pitch as well from Tokyo, urging businesses to not only make in India, but also make for the world, highlighting India as a global manufacturing hub. Listen in.
हमने ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस पर बल दिया है। बिजनेस के लिए सिंगल डिजिटल विंडो अप्रूवल की व्यवस्था की है। हमने 45,000 कंप्लायंसेस रेशनलाइज किए हैं। इस प्रक्रिया को गति देने के लिए डीरेगुलेशन पर एक उच्च स्तरीय कमेटी बनाई गई है। अब हम न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी सेक्टर को भी खोल रहे हैं। S&P ग्लोबल ने 2 दशक बाद भारत के क्रेडिट रेटिंग अपग्रेड किए हैं। The world is not just watching India. It is counting on India.
All right, let me introduce Pathikrit Pine into this broadcast. He's joining us on the phone line. He's a geostrategic expert. Pathikrit, can I understand from you how you see the India-Japan relationship, the Prime Minister emphasizing on the economic growth of India affecting the entire world and how the, globe is looking at it closely, but also the fact that security as well as economic cooperation have been the backbone of the India-Japan relationship?
Well, if you look at India's automobile sector, in the early stages in 1980s, when it was very nascent. One of the early investors and one of the most committed investors were the Japanese companies like the Suzuki or Yamaha, or you had Honda. And today, India is one of the largest players in the automobile sector. A lot of credit actually goes to the Japanese companies in creating the base over here, acting as an incubation center point. And if you look at what is right now in terms of the kind of financial support JBIC gives, Japan Bank for International Cooperation, to our infrastructure projects, or even the bullet train, it's all having a Japanese hand. And if you look at what is the potential of it, Japan recently has pledged $68 billion of investments in India, and in the areas of AI or semiconductors or quantum computing or electronics manufacturing, where a lot of impetus is being given by Prime Minister Modi. I think the Japanese companies will be extremely interested, because they also, like many others, want to have some kind of a decoupling to a certain extent from China or other places, and they want to remain committed in India, because one of the biggest and the most promising market eventually is going to be the Indian market, which is not only one of the top 5 in the world, but it is growing at a very rapid pace. So I think there are many areas of convergence, and I think both the countries being democracy, there are shared values and interests. Yes. And the Japanese companies have been very comfortable working in India. They have invested and remained committed for decades now. So it would not be surprising if more investments come in a country which is expected to become a $10 trillion economy in the next one decade.
Pathikrit, while we understand that India and Japan share a standalone separate relationship with each other, there is, of course, the shared concern now that is coming in from America, that of tariff. And both these countries, India and Japan, are Quad members. There are concerns about the future of Quad as well as we speak. But as far as sending out a message to Donald Trump in America is concerned, do you think this is going to be a message that will be delivered with the kind of impact that it aims to get?
Well, you are absolutely right, because, Trump had initially in the recent past announced that he has already concluded a deal with Japan, a trade deal, where he actually asked the Japanese to commit an investment of $550 billion into the American market, which right now there is no future of it. The Japanese delegation during the negotiations have postponed their visit to the United States. I think they're extremely uncomfortable with some of the things happening in terms of this trade negotiation. So, like India, there are many other countries, including Japan, who have completely put on hold the trade negotiations with the United States because of the approach, the intransigence of the Trump administration. So I think the messaging that is going on is this: the United States is very important for both India and Japan, but it's not that the United States will be, sending us all these one unidirectional dictums and we have to abide by that. That's not going to happen. There are major areas of collaboration and cooperation between Japan and India, and it has a history, a legacy, and that will be taken forward. That United States is welcome, but United States is not welcome to always have that bullying approach. That is not acceptable. And I think both these countries is actually setting a parameter for many other countries to follow, that the world does not end if the tariff is raised by the American government. There are many other areas where economies are growing, populations have aspiration, there is talent, and each can grow with each other. The symbiotic relationship both these countries are demonstrating is a message for the American administration as well, that if you talk about American interests, you have to take care of others' interests as well. The Japanese did huge business in India, but it also helped the Indian economy to grow as well and become competitive. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So this symbiosis is what is the message. That please respect other countries, let them grow, and it mutual agreements, agreements has to be preceded by mutual interest and mutual
That's right, and that mutual interest is being seen right now. Pathikrit, we're getting for our viewers these live visuals that are coming in of MOUs being signed between India and Japan. Remember, a lot of sectors where we have convergence. But let's also tell you how, viewers, amid the Trump tariff tyranny, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Indo-China dosti, he said that India and China must work together. He cited volatility in the world economy, saying that it is important to work together. This is, a Prime Minister that has given an interview to Japanese Daily. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with the Japanese Daily, saying India is ready to advance relations and that ties with China are stable and amicable. While the Prime Minister has also emphasized on the India-Japan relationship, saying that India and Japan are a force for progress. The focus is on defense and semiconductors, extremely crucial sectors that are there. Patikrit, thanks very much for joining us at the moment on the broadcast. We are, of course, getting in the address by the Japanese Prime Minister. Listen in.
I would like to sincerely welcome Prime Minister Modi and his delegation for their visit to Japan. 6 years ago, in August, I had the pleasure of visiting Varanasi by the river Ganga, which is the largest sacred land of Hinduism and also the sacred land of Buddhism. I was in awe of the Indian history of time immemorial. When I think back, the two countries have started its relationship back in the 6th century when Buddhism was introduced into Japan. We have had long-term relationship crossing the sea, and culturally and spiritually we were able to influence each other. And such positive influence-based relationship have not changed at all today. India now has the world's largest population and has a dramatic economic growth, and India is bringing transformation to the whole world through innovations. Japan can also boast of advanced technology leading the world's growth. When we think about Japan and India relations going forward, we need to take advantage of each other's strengths to bring solutions to our challenges and to help each other, or to think about possible solutions for the next generation's challenges where no answer is seen today. To bring wisdom together, to co-create solutions. And that, I believe, would be the benefit for both of our countries in having complementary and mutual relationships. Now, Japan and India share the fundamental values, and in the Indo-Pacific region, we need to maintain free and open international order based on rule of law. We share the responsibility to strengthen such an international order as we see increasing opaqueness in the international circumstances. Japan and India need to bring their strengths together for peace and stability of the region. Prime Minister Modi visited Japan as Prime Minister back in September of 2014 for the first time, and the two countries agreed to have special strategic and global partnership. In the past 10 years, we have been able to see advancement in broad-based areas. At our meeting here today, based upon such accumulation, we were able to have exchange of views on how to advance our relationship forward in the coming 10 years. Now, first of all, cooperation in security arena. In order to secure peace and stability for the Indo-Pacific, we need to deepen cooperation between the defense authorities between our two countries. 23 years ago, back in 2003, I visited India, the first time for Director General of the Japanese Defense Agency to visit India. Compared to then, Japan and India security cooperation has deepened dramatically, and we are seeing advancement of the possible transfer to be realized to the Indian Navy here on Unicorn in United Combined Radio Antenna. In order to support such a cooperation, we have adopted the Japan-India Security Cooperation the declaration, and there are shared issues of economic security, and we will start the economic security initiative to strengthen the partnership to bring resilience for the critical commodity supply chain. Second, to promote investment and innovation. India has a vast market with great potential. In order to bring in the vitality of India, that would grow the Japanese economy. For Japan's investment and technology technology transfer to be proceeded with that would be conducive for the Make in India, Make Forward world by Prime Minister Modi. And I believe that there will be further the values to be brought about with the semiconductor and artificial intelligence, Japan-India Digital Partnership 2.0, as well as Japan-India AI Cooperation Initiative Giant will be launched, and Japanese startup businesses and the Indian business too will be further developed, and we will also promote space cooperation. We will also together address the conducive climate for businesses to be achieved. And we have set forth the target of 10 trillion investment in order to support the private sector investment from Japan to India. High-speed rail is a flagship project between the two countries, and we have agreed to further promote cooperation, and we will launch a next-generation mobility partnership with the aim to further expand our cooperation for the next generation energy as well as disaster risk reduction and digital area. Thirdly, compared to the close relationship between two countries, there is still a lot of space to grow for traffic and exchange of the people. Of course, the Indian STEM talents are highly competent, but the Indian students coming to Japan to study are less than 2,000. We need more high-skilled talents from India for the growth of Japanese economy and for the vitalization of the local communities. Japan-India Institute of Manufacturing by Suzuki in India should be further promoted to have craftsmen being trained, and which would further support the growth in India. And we will have the action plan to have better flow and training of the mutually complementary talents on both directions. In 2027, we will celebrate the 75th anniversary for the diplomatic relationship. In autumn, we will have Japan the month, and we will further address the strengthening of relationship. And we have adopted the Japan-India joint vision. We will have the further discussion at the working dinner following this. Thank you.
Your Excellency, प्रधानमंत्री इशिबा, दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के मित्रों, नमस्ते। कौन बनवा? सबसे पहले मैं प्रधानमंत्री इशिबा का उनके आत्मीयता भरे शब्दों और गर्मजोशी भरे स्वागत के लिए हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। आज हमारी चर्चा प्रोडक्टिव भी थी और पर्पजफुल भी थी। हम दोनों एकमत है कि विश्व की दो बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्थाओं और जीवंत लोकतंत्रों के रूप में हमारी साझेदारी केवल दोनों देशों के लिए ही नहीं, बल्कि वैश्विक शांति और स्थिरता के लिए भी अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। स्ट्रांग डेमोक्रेसीज आर नेचुरल पार्टनर्स इन शेपिंग अ बेटर वर्ल्ड। फ्रेंड्स, आज हमने अपनी स्पेशल स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड ग्लोबल पार्टनरशिप में एक नए और सुनहरे अध्याय की मजबूत नींव रखी है। हमने अगले दशक के लिए एक रोड मैप बनाया है। हमारे विजन के केंद्र में इन्वेस्टमेंट, इनोवेशन, इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी, एनवायरमेंट, टेक्नोलॉजी, हेल्थ, मोबिलिटी, पीपल टू पीपल एक्सचेंजेस एंड स्टेट प्रीफेक्चर पार्टनरशिप, ये प्रमुख बातें हैं। हमने अगले 10 वर्षों में जापान से भारत में 10 ट्रिलियन येन निवेश का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है। भारत और जापान के स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस और स्टार्टअप्स को जोड़ने पर विशेष बल दिया जाएगा। भारत और जापान बिजनेस फोरम में भी मैंने जापानी कंपनियों को कहा, मेक इन इंडिया, मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड। फ्रेंड्स, हमारा ज्वाइंट क्रेडिट मैकेनिज्म ऊर्जा के लिए एक बड़ी जीत है। इट शोज दैट आवर ग्रीन पार्टनरशिप is as strong as our economic partnership. इसी दिशा में हम सस्टेनेबल फ्यूल्स इनिशिएटिव्स और बैटरी सप्लाई चेन पार्टनरशिप भी शुरू कर रहे हैं। हम इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी कोऑपरेशन इनिशिएटिव लॉन्च कर रहे हैं। इसके तहत क्रिटिकल और स्ट्रेटेजिक क्षेत्रों में एक व्यापक अप्रोच के साथ आगे बढ़ा जाएगा। हाई टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में सहयोग हम दोनों की प्राथमिकता है। इस संदर्भ में डिजिटल पार्टनरशिप 2.0 और एआई कोऑपरेशन इनिशिएटिव लिया जा रहा है। सेमीकंडक्टर्स और रेयर अर्थ मिनरल्स हमारे एजेंडे में सबसे ऊपर रहेंगे। फ्रेंड्स, हम मानते हैं कि जापानी टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इंडियन टैलेंट आर अ विनिंग कॉम्बिनेशन। जहां हम हाई स्पीड रेल पर काम कर रहे हैं, वहीं नेक्स्ट जनरेशन मोबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप के अंतर्गत पोर्ट्स, एविएशन और शिप बिल्डिंग जैसे क्षेत्रों में भी तेजी से प्रगति करेंगे। चंद्रयान 5 मिशन में सहयोग के लिए इसरो और जाक्सा में बनी सहमति का हम स्वागत करते हैं। हमारी सक्रिय भागीदारी पृथ्वी की सीमाओं को पार कर अंतरिक्ष में भी मानवता की प्रगति का प्रतीक बनेगी। फ्रेंड्स, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स एक्सचेंज, इसके एक्शन प्लान के तहत अगले 5 वर्षों में अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में दोनों तरफ से 5 लाख लोगों के आदान प्रदान को प्रोत्साहन दिया जाएगा। इसमें 50,000 स्किल्ड भारतीय जापान के अर्थव्यवस्था में सक्रिय योगदान देंगे। भारत और जापान की भागीदारी दिल्ली और टोक्यो तक ही सीमित नहीं रहेगी। अब भारतीय स्टेट्स और जापानी प्रीफेक्चर्स, इसके बीच संस्थागत सहयोग के माध्यम से जुड़ाव और गहरा होगा। इससे ट्रेड, टूरिज्म, एजुकेशन एंड कल्चरल एक्सचेंजेस के नए द्वार खुलेंगे। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और जापान एक फ्री, ओपन, पीसफुल, प्रॉस्परस एंड रूल्स बेस्ड इंडो पैसिफिक के प्रति पूरी तरह से प्रतिबद्ध है। आतंकवाद और साइबर सिक्योरिटी को लेकर हमारी चिंताएं समान है। डिफेंस और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी से हमारे साझे हित जुड़े हुए हैं। हमने निर्णय किया है कि डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री और इनोवेशन के क्षेत्र में आपसी सहयोग को और सशक्त किया जाएगा। फ्रेंड्स, India and Japan partnership is rooted in mutual trust, reflects our national priorities and is shaped by our shared values and beliefs. Together, we carry a common dream of peace, progress, and prosperity of our peoples and for the world. Excellency, आपकी मित्रता के लिए मैं पुनः हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और अगली एनुअल समिट के लिए आपको भारत यात्रा का सादर आमंत्रण देता हूं। अरिगातो गोजाइमासु। धन्यवाद।
This ends the Japan-India joint press announcements.
All right, so that was the joint press statement coming in from India and Japan. Extremely crucial points as far as cooperation in various sectors is concerned between the two countries. Remember, both prime ministers spoke of how an economic security partnership will be launched between the two countries. Remember, this is coming amid the tariff challenge that has been thrown by Donald Trump at several countries across the world. Also, of course, Make in India, Make for the World being the focus. Also, Prime Minister Modi emphasizing how semiconductors and rare earth minerals will be a top agenda between the two countries, apart from, of course, skilled Indians visiting Japan and contributing there. We'll keep getting you more details from Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan. Right now, viewers, it's time for a short break.